الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الصلاة جامعة. الصلاة جامعة. الصلاة جامعة.
Just as a quick reminder to all of us, for those of us that are new to the faith of Islam, or those of us that this is the first time praying Eid Salah, Eid Salah is 2 rak'at. It's considered, it's a prayer with 2 prostrations. In the first rak'ah, we will be doing takbirat al-ihram, the first takbirah, followed by 7 takbirat. And then we'll continue regularly in the salah with the Surah al-Fatiha and so on. And the second rak'ah, after we come up from prostration, we will do 5 takbirat after that takbirat al-intiqal, the takbir that makes us move, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us all. استووا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. اللهم اغفر لي الله أكبر. 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين مالك يوم الدين صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. تحياتي لله يسرى والطيبات. السلام عليك يا النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله كما صليت على وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر جزاكم الله خير. نرجع. بسم الله.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa illahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Congratulate the day. And this day of Eid follows one of the greatest, one of our pillars of Islam, the pillar of Hajj. And the pillar of Hajj, many of its manasik, many of its root causes are the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every single year reminds us of this story, of these teachings of Sayyidina Ibrahim and his family. Sayyidina Ibrahim, at the beginning of the story, he drops his wife off and his brand new son, his infant son, Radiya, someone who is still breastfeeding. And he says, Oh Allah, he says, رَبَّنَا إِنِّي أَسْكَنْتُ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي بِوَادٍ غَيْرِ ذِي زَرْعٍ عِنْدَ بَيْتِكَ الْمُحَرَّمِ. Oh Allah, I have left my wife and my family, my progeny, in a valley with no zara, with no grass, with no water, with nothing, the desert. And he begins to walk away from his wife and his son. And Ummina Hajar, our mother Hajar, runs after Sayyidina Ibrahim. Says, Ya Ibrahim, ila ayn? Where are you going, Sayyidina Ibrahim? Where are you leaving us? Leaving us nowhere. And Sayyidina Ibrahim does not respond. So Ummina Hajar realizes this is the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, Allahu amaraka bihada. Is this a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So he turns and he says, Naam. One word, one answer, yes. So the response that we must live by, the response that every single one of us has to put in our minds, إِذًا لَن يُضَيِّعَنَا. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you, O Sayyidina Ibrahim, has commanded every single one of us to do something, then truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never lead us astray, will never let us go. And this brings us to an important fact, وَمَا ظَنُّكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. What is our opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What do we think when a situation happens in our lives? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to remind us of this story, so we continue to understand that we plan, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. A situation where you leave a mother and her infant child in the middle of the desert. If we look at it from a humanistic perspective, they're destined to death. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a better plan for them. But Ummina Hajar, our mother Hajar, even though she had the yaqeen of a believer, she knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't let her go astray. She still didn't allow herself to stop from working hard. She begins to run between Safa and Marwa, looking for a solution, looking for an answer. But her yaqeen is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's a lesson for every single one of us. Every year the Hujjaj do exactly like Ummina Hajar. They run in the same way that she ran, as a reminder to every single one of us that we work with our limbs, we work hard with our body, but in our hearts we know the results are in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands. We remind ourselves every single year of this lesson. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us many more lessons. But amongst the most important of them is Arafah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, talking about Hajj, he says, Al-Hajju Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. To stand on the mountain of Arafah yesterday and to call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make dua to Him. And Arafah, many of the scholars say, is a lesson similar to the lesson of Yawm al-Qiyamah. We stand side by side, irregardless of how rich we are, irregardless of how poor we are, and regardless of what we have in this dunya. And we wear two pieces of cloth that almost anyone can afford. Two pieces of cloth. And we stand side by side. And we call to the same God, same Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we raise our hands. And the only differentiator between every one of us is the taqwa that's in our hearts. No one can see that. That's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The differentiation, the paradigm shift that we must have as a community, that we must have as a society, as Muslims, is to realize what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the Quran. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Every single one of us are brothers and sisters to one another. So we must live our lives with that knowledge, with that yaqeen that this is my brother and I must treat him as my brother. And the Prophet ﷺ tells us something. He tells us something so profound, so beautiful. He says, لا تدخلون الجنة. You will not enter Jannah. You will not enter Jannah. That yaqeen in your heart. ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. And you will not have that iman, that belief in your heart until you love one another. ألا أدلكم على شيء إن فعلتموه تحاببتم. Do you want me to tell you of something that if you do, you will have that hub, that iman that you want to strive for, that Jannah that we want. Ifshu salama baynakum. Spread salam with one another. So today, the first thing that we're going to do, just regardless of if I know them or if I don't, I'm going to spread my salams to them. For one reason and one reason only. This brother is my brother. We worship the same God. We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We follow the same Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And for that reason and that reason alone, I love this individual. And because I love this individual, with two major ibadat. First with Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr, and then with Hajj and Eid al-Adha. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us positive reinforcement. He's showing us the closer we come to Him, the more enjoyment we will have in this dunya and in the akhirah. So it is an obligation, just like it's an obligation for every one of us to pray our salah. It's an obligation for every one of us to enjoy Eid. And to bring that enjoyment to the people around us. The Prophet ﷺ reminds us and he says, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ سُرُورٌ تَدْخُلُهُ عَلَى مُسْلِمٍ. The most beloved of actions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to bring happiness to a Muslim. More importantly, to your family, your children, your spouse. They should have happiness and enjoyment today. We live in a society where our brothers and sisters in other faith, they celebrate all year round. They have their celebrations, their Christmas, their Halloween. Our youth, our children are going, where's our celebration? Where's the Muslim enjoyment? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it right here. Here's our enjoyment. Every single one of us has an obligation to bring that surur, that happiness to our children, to our families. So that they realize Islam is a religion not just of ibadat, but our ibadat are encompassed in our enjoyment, in our happiness. Bringing that happiness is a form of ibadah that we worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with. And outside of our immediate families, our brothers and sisters that are in a lower situation or in a more difficult situation than ourselves. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the great sunnahs is the sunnah of qurbani. To give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to someone that is less fortunate than you. We have 4 days to give in this. Don't allow Eid to finish without giving in this charity. And God, this masjid accepts your donation, accepts your qurbani. Give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And allow your intention to be, I want to bring surur, I want to bring happiness to one of my Muslim brothers or sisters that are less fortunate than me. That is my intention. And my other intention is the ayah, وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ. Take advantage of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you for the hereafter. Everything I want to do, I'm going to strive, even on the day of Eid, even when I'm enjoying, to receive the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us happiness in this dunya and this akhirah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. Today is the day of Eid. And one of the goals of Eid is to strengthen our ties with our family. So as we are going home, and many of us are driving home today, take the opportunity to call your family. If your parents are still alive, give them a call. If your siblings that you haven't spoken to in years, allow today to be the opportunity that you bring back the ties of Islam, to bring back the ties of family. And have this paradigm shift, the importance of family and community in Islam, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times a day, He allows us to stand shoulder to shoulder, irregardless of our color, irregardless of our race, irregardless of our age or wealth or health. We stand side by side as one ummah, as one community. So our takeaways today as we leave this masjid, first and foremost, we're going to put our trust back in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going to have our actions, our body act, but our hearts are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, as we are walking out of this masjid, every single person we see, irregardless of if I know them or if I don't, I'm going to send my salams to them. I'm going to wish them a Eid Mubarak. Number 3, I'm going to do everything that I can to support the people around me and to bring happiness to them on this day. Today is the day of Eid. So if I can take my children out, take them out. If I can take my families out, take them out. If I can get them new clothes, do whatever I can to bring that surur, that happiness to our families and to the people around us. And lastly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. We're going to give whatever we can to support our Muslim brothers around the world. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. We are truly brothers and sisters. So we must act like brothers and sisters. How happy would we be if someone had gifted us something on a special day like Eid? So in that intention of bringing that surur to your Muslim brothers and sisters, we're going to give as we walk out of this masjid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us all. Eid Sa'eed, kul aam wa antum bi khair, and Eid Mubarak. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.